All right, good morning, good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Today is Friday, last trading day of the week, and we're going to try to capitalize on the day. See if we can't get this second 50K account at least halfway finished um, for next week. I recently just passed my first evaluation, combine, whatever you want to call it, challenge, whatever, through Top Step this week. So I do have a funded account. I can proudly say that I am a funded trader, finally. But I'm working on a second 50K account before I start trading in the funded account so that I can, at the very least, have a backup account just in case we lose the funded account, right? I want to be able to have two funded accounts so that you know, for a couple reasons, primarily to have a backup account. Secondly, to have two accounts to trade in so that I can minimize daily losses. For example, if I go, two red trades in a row in one account, I can switch to the other account. That way, we minimize the daily loss in one account, and we can continue to trade in a different account, so that we can, kind of spread the wins and losses between two accounts. I did that with the challenge accounts with the combine, and it actually seemed to help a lot by minimizing the losses, especially daily, uh, which helped me get to a point where I finally passed to that. So that is the goal. So right now you are watching me trade live in my second 50K combine to try to get that passed, and we are New York session open. Here we go. Ooh, hey, look at that. Let's run, let's run, let's run. So, quick step back here to look at the 15-minute chart for you guys. You can see I have my areas of interest plotted for today. You can see that price has actually been trading this morning so far right around fair value of yesterday. We have just pushed up to our volume high, and we are looking like we're getting some resistance there. And then we have our volume low here. Not a big spread today, which is okay. Will give us hopefully some opportunities here. So you can see we got a lot of liquidity built up just under our volume high here. Market does still seem okay with their outlook. Market is starting to price in some Fed cuts again. We're going back and forth with that this year, but as outlook starts to look a little bit more down and confirmed that way, where recession is still in the talks of the markets and hedge funds and whatnot. The market is now starting to price in again more cuts, especially by September, to get some of that pressure relief. Right? Doesn't mean that that's what they're going to do, but that's what markets are talking about right now. That's what these big smart people on the news and stuff are talking about. But we'll see. We'll see. So you can see how we push right up to our volume low here. Um, Looks like a nice little liquidity grab here, and markets are pushing back down here. Thanks. Here. Thanks, babe. So we'll see markets push probably back down to our control here. This is the red line here, control from yesterday, and our green thin is the daily or visible is what we can see here. And you can see how close they are, and you can see how price has definitely been respecting this area here. So this price point in this general area is is fair value. Okay, today and yesterday so far. So we'll pay very very close attention here to how price action continues. And if we do push past our control here, our fair value, I would expect price to run down to our volume low. That's what we would be targeting. So I talked a little bit yesterday and in some previous, oh, we get a nice little bounce off of there actually. In some previous live sessions about how I'm working on being a little bit more aggressive um, in the sense of trusting myself and my strategy more so that I can get into trades that I've been missing, trades that I've been calling out as they're happening and just not getting into the market due to fear, honestly, to be open and honest, which is what I'm all about. It's what this channel is about. Um, I still am working on overcoming this fear of being a little bit more aggressive and getting in and out of the market, more so in to capture the opportunities that are presenting, the opportunities that I'm seeing, the opportunities that I'm calling out. But I'm just not, you know, getting into them. And it's because I'm afraid of being wrong or losing, right? So that is like, I feel like the last piece here that that I need to overcome to really excel in trading. Um, my strategy is pretty solid. I'm still fine tuning a little bit, but it's working. I mean, I'm calling trades out. Hopefully, you guys aren't hearing that. Um, it's a guy with a leaf blower right out my window right now. All right, so market's pushing above our volume high here. This was a really quick bounce off of that. We couldn't really catch that. So I'm not upset with this here. Uh, I'm just trying to wait for this guy to be finished. Spring cleanup time. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. Let's have a great day. Let's do it. What was I saying? Now that the hedge trimmer guy is leaving. Uh, yeah. So I need to get over this fear factor and trust myself and my strategy more, so that I can capture and capitalize on these opportunities, which, like I was saying, I feel is the last piece of this puzzle for me to be able to really excel at trading here. And you guys saw yesterday that I missed out on two really great opportunities that I called out and just never pulled the trigger because I do have, that fear of being wrong or and losing or whatever. Really difficult to overcome, especially when you have 3 years worth of failures sitting behind you. But that's what I'm working on right now for myself, is overcoming that and just playing the charts. What the market is showing me, I just need to execute, based on what the market's telling me. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's not going to always, right? But if I at least try, then on days like yesterday, which is like a day trader's dream, where we just climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed. I mean, you could have stayed in the market all day yesterday and, made a ton of money. And that was a trade that I called out, literally watching it yesterday on the live session and said, look at this liquidity here. Boom, boom, boom. And then it went and I never capitalized on it and missed the entire day. So that's something that I know that I need to work on. Um, and that's what we're going to try. That's what we're going to do. And like I said, hopefully that is like the last piece mentally, psychologically, that if I can get over, my trading will just excel from there, hopefully. So, um, really nice move here. So far, we retraced right down to our fair value. You can see this here. This red line again is our control from yesterday. That's fair value. That's where the majority of trades took place. And this little thin green line here is the current. So you can see how yesterday and today are still kind of matching. Really, really nice bounce right off of that. And this is not something that you could catch, right? You have no idea that this is going to happen. So I'm not upset. This is not a miss. You can't see this. And then really, really nice push past our volume high here from yesterday. So what I'm looking for is to see if price holds up here or if we end up coming back down. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. And honestly, that's what I'm going to do. And I think that's what I'm going to do regardless is get into entries with a small position. And if I get confirmation, in other words, if the trade starts to move in my direction, um, immediately, which is a good sign, then I'll just add to the position. I haven't done that. So it's going to be something that I am going to have to work on, I guess, as far as timing. But you're right. I'm going to do that, and I actually starting today, I actually decreased my position size, my setting here to be able to do that. So you are definitely right there, and I agree with that. So I'm still trading micros. When I switched over to micros, especially with the smaller account, with the 50K account, it seems to work much better. It gives you uh, way more room to be able to play with scaling in and out. Honestly, where if I was using just mini contracts, you really can only use one contract, and you're depending on how price is moving that day, you're risking a lot. So with micros, I've been using like 10 would be my max, which is a half of a mini contract, right? Um, and that seems to work out really well for me. It gives me plenty of room for a stop, so I'm not risking too much, and I'm able to scale out of a position by doing that. So today we're going to try getting into positions with 5 micros, and then I can add another 5 or whatever if the trade starts to go in my direction, and then we can still scale out, right? Once we reach our first take profit point, we can take 75% or whatever off the position and leave some runners, right? That's what we're gonna that's what we're gonna try. So still fine tuning my strategy as far as um, scaling in and out. But yeah, and hopefully, in the next couple weeks or so, we can get this solidified and fine tuned, and then we can just hit the road running. So we dipped back below our volume high here. See what the 15-minute looks like. We only have 2 minutes left for that candle. Doesn't really look great. Can you tell me what micro and tick is? Is it like lot size or what? So I trade futures, and futures is based off of contracts. So you buy a contract or multiple contracts. And I'm new with futures, so let me try my best. Um, you have mini contracts, which is the larger size, and then you have micros. In the NASDAQ, in NQ, your minis are worth $20 per point. Okay, so every point that the NASDAQ moves up or down is worth $20 per contract. Your micros are worth $2. So per contract, right? So you have a lot more wiggle room with the micros than you do with the minis, unless you have a large account. If you're, 100 or 150K account or whatever, yeah, you can do, two or three minis, and um, your risk to reward with that size account is much better than using minis in a 50K account. Because I'm trying not to lose more than a few $100 per trade, and you just don't have that much room when you're using minis. Because $20 every point per contract is a lot, you know. Um, and it's also a lot the other way if you're gaining. But I found that being able to use micros and going in with 10 micros, um, which again is half of what a single mini is, gives you much more wiggle room and allows you to at least practice scaling in and out of positions, which you can't really do. At least for me, anyway, I found it very difficult to do with minis because you're only getting in with a single contract and then getting out. Um, so similar to, um, I guess, I mean, it's similar to shares, I guess. If no, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it because buying shares is what I did before switching to futures, and you can easily calculate your take profit and your stop loss because you know what each share costs. It's a little bit more difficult to calculate your stop loss and whatnot with contracts, and then every asset is different as to how much each point is worth and whatnot. I had to do a ton of research, and when I started doing futures, I didn't even know what the contracts were worth, how much I was even spending getting in with certain amount of contracts. It was a little bit of a learning curve for me, but turns out I like it better. I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah. Getting a little bit of some big movements here. So we did get a rejection off of our volume high. That 15-minute candle closed bearish. We can show you guys here, right? So I think what I'm going to do is see if we break our control here, which is fair value. Um, and then we can uh, we can try to make a plan off of that. Right now, we're just trading within this range here between our control and our volume high. So let's see what price does again once we get down here, which we most likely will. We did push higher. We came back down. I don't think we're waiting on any. Oh, we are waiting for news. Okay. So that's probably why we're trading in this range right now. We probably will be until 10 o'clock. So we have Michigan sentiment coming out, which I don't really like, but the market reacts to it. So to play this smart, to be honest with you, I probably won't get into a trade until those numbers come out. So we're just going to hang out. We'll watch price action, see what it wants to do. Um, but I am willing to bet that we might just stay within our range, even from these highs and these lows here. We might just hang out in here until we get those numbers. Let's be smart and wait. I like it. I like it. All right. I've been trying to work on getting some music for the background. Um, I don't know if you guys prefer having stuff in the background or not, but I'm also not used to also having people to have conversations with. So makes the streams a little bit more lively. We definitely got some sellers coming in here, but your buyers are keeping price up also. But again, we only have 10 minutes before that Michigan sentiment comes out. And then who knows what the market's going to do? Who knows? So these are the setups that I talk about a lot when you have a literal shelf here. These end up being um, really good indicators of where price is going to go. And then if you look back, you have the same situation. So you know that this is a price that buyers step into. And this is a very similar setup as to the one yesterday that I missed, except today we have news coming. So I won't be upset if I don't take a trade. Oh, hey, look at that. And this is why we wait. Good question. So I wouldn't say that I don't like to trade on the day. I'm much, much more vigilant, and I don't trade during the news, especially during times of uncertainty like we are right now, because the wicked movements that you get, even if price ends up going in the direction that you thought it was going to, you're going to get taken out by a wick or something like that. So um, there's just no point. And it's not like you're missing anything. The opportunity is always gonna be there. So I don't trade during big news events, but like CPI or the things that come out later in the afternoon, like the meetings, the FOMC meetings and stuff. I'll still trade during the day, but I'll be much more careful about it. And a lot of times those days trade sideways anyway, so the opportunities aren't really there. But I'll still be here. But I don't trade, um I don't stay in trades when news is about to come out, and I try not to trade around those times. Let the market settle down, do its volatility thing, absorb and understand the information that we just got, and then, I'll get in after the fact. Alright, looks like we're pushing the lows here. This is low of the day, by the way. I almost took this trade pre-market, actually. Feel like the market knows something we don't, which is always the case, right? Okay. Oops. I'll try to put some music on here. Let's see if this works. See, now this would be a good bounce off of this low area here, but we're not going to take anything right now. Anyway, oops, it's probably really loud. My bad. Do you guys hear any music or no? I can't tell if it's extreme. No music. Stream mix. Hold on. All right, 2.5 minutes until news. Okay. Oh, that probably helps. There we go. How about now? And is it too loud? Look at this beautiful bounce here. This is so good for an entry. All right, we got a minute left until our news. All right, cool. We're going to listen to a little relaxation music today. That's what I'm in the mood for. Some chill vibes, bring the stress down. If it gets to be too loud, just let me know. Cool. All right. It should be there. If it's too loud, just let me know. Look at that. And we froze. Haha. Hey now. Okay, so come on, give me the numbers. There we go. So Michigan sentiment final. We were looking for 50.5. We got 52.2. Okay, good number there. Good beat to the upside. 5-year inflation came in at 4.4%, which was expectations. 1-year inflation on the oh, it went down. We were expecting 6.8%. We got 6.5% for the 1 year. Expectations, we were expecting 4.6. I'm sorry, 46.3. We got 47.3. So not terrible there, especially with all of the uncertainty and hype with the tariffs and stuff. I would have expected this to be a little bit worse. And the market clearly likes it. All right. Very good. Very good. That's the news for the day. So now we're clear to trade after the market calms down. All right. So we are retesting our volume high here. Market liked the news. We held down here on the low end of the day here. So I honestly would not be surprised if we continued higher. But we need some confirmation there, right? Very nice. This might have been what we needed to continue to the upside today. But we'll see. We have not peaked above here. Sellers are still coming in here. I hope we don't get stuck range trading today. That would stink. All right, well, just pay attention here. We've had some previous liquidity in this area here, and you can see where buyers and sellers fought in this general area also. So this might be okay there. Phew. The buyers are trying, but so I'll tell you what I can see here and what I know from experience is we're already setting up a sideways trading day here, even from way back here in pre-market. At this point, because we're getting what we're getting, I need to see breaks of highs or lows before I get in. Otherwise, it's just a little too risky for my liking. You are getting some support here, but the sellers are coming in and squashing the buyers each time. And so far, we are definitely respecting my areas of interest here in between. So I'd really like to see a break out of one of these zones here, whether it's up or down. I'm waiting for confirmation of direction because right now we don't have any. It's just sideways trading. And even with that news, the sellers are coming in and holding price down. Buyers are coming in down here, holding price up. And I don't do well with trading sideways stuff like this. And it's super risky. You know, you could try to grab up at the top of, you know, these highs here or whatever. Every time I've tried to trade that way to, you know, to catch the move back to the downside, it always goes against me. So if price breaks these highs here, so this is highs of the New York session, right? I don't really care about the previous sessions. Then that would give me some confirmation that we're going to continue higher, but I'd wait for a retest and then we'll go with that. If the retest fails, then we're back to square one. That's what I would like to see, or vice versa. I don't really care what direction it goes. I just need the market to show me a direction. And right now, what it's showing me is sideways trading. So if we can break here, then we'll be good. We'll look for an entry to go long, but I'll wait for a retest. That's just been my experience. Every time I've tried to, you know, catch trades in a sideways moving market, it never works out for me. So I just stay out of stuff like this. until I get signs, at least, of a direction. The news wasn't terrible. I mean, it was probably better than expected, but we're not getting any real clear signs of a direction here. And even now, you can see sellers stepping in here. Buyers are doing okay, but we have not broken highs yet. It's just too choppy. There we go. Okay. Hopefully we can maintain this. I like the strong push. This is good sign here. As long as we can maintain it, right? We need to close strong also. If we come back and leave a big wick here, I don't like that. But we look good on the 15, so long as we continue to push here. This is good. And the reason why I wait for a retest for confirmation is I want to make sure that this isn't a fake out. It's not a liquidity grab, and it's just going to fall right back down, right? Which in this type of market, a lot of times it does. But hopefully not. Hopefully we get some direction here. So we did break highs. Decent push, decent close, nice volume with it. Good push up. I still like it. We're still looking okay. So I'll let this run until we get some kind of pullback, retests, you know, something like that. I'm not going to buy up at the highs. Honestly, I'd like to see a retest of our volume high here, because you can see that that's where a lot of our buying and selling was. So if we can get a retest here and it holds, that would be nice. But we may only come back to our highs here, and that would be okay too. So let's see what happens. I like that buyers are not just allowing a quick fall here. That's a good sign so far. You can see the 15-minute chart here looking really, really strong. So I'll let this run. And if we close really strong here, I'd like to see a retest. And if we come back, like I said, to our volume high, as it stands right now, that would be like a 50% retrace on our candle here. This would be a good place to get in to continue longs, unless the market just decides to take off today, in which case it is what it is. But there wasn't anything here that we missed today. Not like yesterday. So this looks good. Just a waiting game now. That's all right. And this is nice too. It gives you a lot of room if we did get a slower retracement back down to our volume high here. It gives us a lot of room to target previous highs, right? So long as this doesn't turn into a quick drop here. We got one more candle left in our 15-minute candle. And so if we close up in this area with the next candle, that'll be a nice strong close, hopefully indicating a continuation to the upside. Yep, just patience. Enjoy the calming music. So one thing I just want to warn about is you can see, the sellers stepping in these areas here, especially where we're at right now. Here's a nice shelf, right? We talked about before. We tried and got rejected in the same area that we are. It doesn't mean that that's going to happen, again, but we're retesting. So if the buyers have enough, we could continue to the high side. So this is a good, strong close here. I'm happy with this. Now we just need our pullback. Yeah, this looks good. We got liquidity here. The buyers definitely stepped in right here to hold the price up, so that's good. It may not. We just have to wait and see. All I know is I'm not buying up here, right? And you could make a case to try to set like try to buy somewhere down here because you do have liquidity, but your risk to reward is not great here because you do have downside, and it's a little bit more than your upside. So for me personally, you guys take your risks the way you want to. I would like to see price come back a little bit further before I try to get in for a continuation. Even if we just came down to these previous highs here, this would be a better place to try to get in for me, because it leaves me more upside than downside. Because I'm guessing that this is going to act as support if we did fall. So I would rather have less downside and more upside. So this area up here is just a little bit too close to the highs for me. And that's just my risk assessment. In this particular case here, we could just run back, tap into our highs here, and then turn quickly. So, you could watch for that. But I like to have confirmation, or at least as much confirmation as possible, right? So that's not bad there. Yeah, exactly what I said, right? Tapped right into the highs here and pushed up. Unfortunately, it just did it a little too much. Because the other thing that I've learned in my experience is you wait for candles to close, because a lot can happen even in 2 seconds, right? So we did do, one of the options that I mentioned here, but we just pushed too far out for me. Yeah. So Here, though, if we come back into this liquidity zone after we pushed out this far, that might be a possibility. But now we're just overtaking candles here. Mm, yeah, see, and I don't like that. Mm, yeah, I don't disagree. We're definitely a little seller heavy here, so let's see. Yeah, for me, I think I definitely need to see a tap into our volume high here. And then this needs to show signs of support. No support there. And that's why we wait. All right, so interesting. We came back down here. Yeah, this is sellers saying, nope, we want to go the other way. So let me just take a look here. 15 minutes. Yeah. It is quite the move there. Lots of volume on this last push here. Crazy markets. Hey, where'd our music go? Look at this bounce. So this is the stuff that I don't like when you have these large movements and then it just swings back the other way and then swings back. This is volatility and choppiness. And by the time you get confirmation, it's too late, And then if you get in because you're FOMOing in, you get taken out. So this type of market structure I really don't like. I'd say in the last 3 years, the majority of um, trades that I have given back or whatever have been in markets like this. And you sit and you wait and you look at this and then you see these movements and you're like, oh, I don't want to miss out. And you get in and you get taken out every time. And then the market turns around and goes in your direction anyway. So I've learned this lesson over and over and over again. And the lesson here is to just not trade in this for me. That's my take. Even when you break highs, right? This started to look like a direction for the market, but then it just goes, right against you. And so the thing that worries me is when we are in a market like this, even if we break lows of the day, are we just going to grab liquidity and turn again? So stuff like this, I just sit out and I wait. Hard lessons that I've learned over and over and over again. I just have to come to the realization that this is not good markets to trade in. Yep. And it's Friday, you know. Markets may want to close at a particular price. So, although you get swings, you always come back to a particular area. So, on the 15-minute, you can see where we have a lot of support here on the lower end. Even from yesterday, we created some support here, right? But on the other side, you got a lot of resistance here that's still playing. So this could just be a bounce back and forth day, even if we peak above, you know. Usually when you have high volatility, and I don't know what the VIX is at today, but you get range trading, but on either side of the range, it typically peaks out and then heads back and then peaks out. So you get this like cone shape that starts to develop. And it's just taking stop losses out on either side, and you get caught in that and you would just end up revenge trading and all that stuff. And this is the stuff that would kill my accounts left and right. So for me, I just stay out of this. Unfortunately, I wanted to get the account at least halfway done today, but just not in the cards, as it would seem. We still got time. I'm not going anywhere. We'll wait, see if this settles out and picks a direction. You got a lot of support down here. So I mean, if you really wanted to, you know, your risk assessment, you could try for longs from down here. I would just go small and leave yourself a lot of room for stop loss. For me, I don't trade in this because it's just going to take me out, and I don't want to go negative in the account. So stay green. That's my motto. Pretty sure that's everybody's motto, right? And you can see, you can see the buyers stepping in here. That's what these long wicks are, right? The thing that we don't know is who's going to win this battle. And then you get some kind of Truth Social or whatever. And then, you get taken out every time. So I think it's just wiser to stay out of this kind of structure. Let it figure it out. Let the markets do what it's going to do. Let the market take, all of the other stop losses that are in. Doesn't have to be yours. That's just my opinion. Yeah. And we got good news today. It just seems as though the market doesn't have quite enough liquidity to continue moving in the up direction. And so we keep reaching. So here we are testing lows again. And again, you can see the buyers. It just seems like there's a little bit more selling pressure right now. So just let them battle it out. We're back to our fair value. How long have you been trading for? It was a nice push there. So you definitely still have some buyers here. I just, you look at the 15-minute chart here. It doesn't really look pretty. It honestly looks like we might have more downside. but who knows? Classic range trading. Nothing you can do about it. Let's see what gold is doing. So we're still falling on gold too. We're testing a little resistance area there. Let's see what the S&P is doing. Same thing. Same thing. We're putting in a shelf on the S&P though here. Look at that. You can't do anything with this. You have no idea what direction this is going to end up going in. So if you like trading on the edge, you can definitely try to grab trades on either end. But I don't like that. That's just me though. And again, by the time you get some kind of confirmation, you have such large, stop losses, right? Because if you got in, let's say we were looking at this, we got support in the same area that we've been getting support in pretty much all day. Nice strong push and close back up, right? So let's say we took a chance and got in here on the close of this candle. Your stop loss really needs to be down here, right? I mean, that's a big stop loss. So then you really need to run back to the highs in order for your risk to reward to make sense. So here's what I'm seeing here. Oh, there we go. Never mind. I was going to say you got liquidity in this area here by sellers, but we just pushed past that. So the market told me to shut up. Yeah, this is just not the structure for me. When you have large wicks on almost every single candle, that's volatility. It's choppiness. That's a no-go for me. It's like a big caution sign. It says we don't know where we want to go. And you had all of that back here, which was fine because we had news. Then the news came out. It looked like we were going to pick a direction. And then you get your choppiness again. Big sell-off here. support, choppiness. Now we're pushing back up to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if we came back up here, but you don't know for sure. Retesting our volume high, which is about 50% of our last 15-minute candle, right? So you could talk yourself into a trade here if this holds as resistance, you know? But I don't like this structure at all. So I would rather ask, why should I not get into a trade? And if there are just more reasons to not get in, or even just a few reasons, then you're probably better off not getting in. You can make as a human being, we can make ourselves believe whatever we want. And what we want is to be in the market and make money, right? But if you ask yourself, why should I not get in to a position, and you can give yourself reasons, even if it's like 2 or 3, you're probably better off staying out. Because that's likely to be more legitimate, honest. All right. Let's do some questions. Ask me anything. Because I'm not trading in this, at least not right now. Came right up to where sellers have stepped in before, right? Boring market. It is what it is. See if there's any news. Da, da, da. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, market participants still worried about a risk of a 2025 recession. Sure. So we rallied the last couple days, but there's like a point that you're going to go to, right? There's still not enough to push market further up. Still too much uncertainty. It's not even any news coming out. All right. So May 7th is the next FOMC rate decision. So that's right around the corner. Right now, market's pricing in 94.8% chance of no cut. So that's pretty solid there. June is the next one after that. And right now, there's a 60% chance of a 25 basis point cut. Obviously, there's still a lot of time between now and then. And then it builds. July, there's even more of a chance of another 25 basis point cut. Yeah. So the market's definitely starting to increase their expectation of interest rate cuts. So the problem with that is if we don't get them, then that's when you're going to see some more downside in the market, right? So just too many questions still. This is not bad here. And then you get that. So you got some clear buyers here, and you can see that with price action. But again, because we're just trading sideways here, if you got in here, you might be able to get away with a quick scalp back up to the top here, maybe up here. You just, within this structure here, you can have pivot points at any point. That's part of the reason why I stay out of this stuff. Think you're done? Okay, I think I'm done for the week. Yeah, I'm probably right there with you, to be honest. I like to stay and watch a little bit longer, but quite honestly, um, this is exactly the type of market that you know you shouldn't be in. So I may be right there with you. Yep, crazy, crazy. And a nice little bounce off of our volume high here, creating a shelf here, but we haven't closed below this price here. It looks nice, but looks can be deceiving. Hmm. This looks healthy here. If I was a gambling man, price came down, retested our lows here, and you could say that once this candle turned green again after our test here, you might have been able to make a case for a long position on a regular day. But this is what happens on a day like today. I'm not in a position, I'm just marking this out as like a maybe. There's just so much risk in this. And there you go, you would have been taken out. Confirmation as to why we don't trade in this. Yeah. Ran out of music again. Da, 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 da. Let's go to collections. Um, so now we're on the other side. Still have no direction here. You're still kind of holding here. Huh. Look at that. Right back to where the sellers are sitting. Can we push through? You know, this may be a turning point. You can see where majority of the volume for today has been down here. But now that prices move back up here, we're starting to build that up here. And if this continues to hold, as I say that and it falls, but if it does continue to hold, this may be a new support here. So nice push up by the buyers here off of our lows here, right? Pretty decent consolidation. We're holding our volume high here. We're building a lot of volume here in this area where our control is probably going to move up to here, somewhere in this area. Oh, that didn't hold. Or is that your liquidity grab? As soon as I start talking, the market's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. So tapping into some liquidity here. Oh, that might be a... Well, let's see how this closes. Oof. So tempted. Very tempting. So push up here, consolidation. This looks like a reach into liquidity here. I'll tell you what. Let's see if we get another retest here. You know what I'm going to do? because I don't feel like wasting trades in my challenge account, I'm going to switch over to my practice account. And we're going to do some things. Let's see if we get a retest here. It's not a retest. It's a psych. Crazy moves. This is my... Yep. We're still holding here. Let's see if we can get price to come back down here. It may not. Yeah, it might not. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Just because I'm bored. I'm not trading in either one of my actual accounts. This is a practice account that you get with Top Step. I would not normally trade in this market structure, but you know, let's test out some theories, I guess. If we get another close above here and we come back and retest, I think I'm going to take a long position here, unless we just end up flying up. I'm going to go in small. We'll do like 5 micros. And if we break highs, we'll add some more. Let's just try it out. Again, this is a practice account. I would not normally trade in this here. So if you guys are actually trading, I mean, never follow me anyway. Not financial advice. Look at that. The control moved to where I said we were going to move to there, right? So this is now today's fair value right here. So that's why what I was trying to say before is this might be a little shift where we had fair value down here earlier today. Now fair value is up here. So we're moving price up. Yeah. Come on, give me a little something here. Just so we can do something for the live. Just double checking again that I'm in my practice account. Yeah. All right. So in my practice account, the account is up at 56,960. And I haven't traded in here in a couple weeks. It's always easier to build a practice account or a paper trading account because there's almost no emotion involved. So sometimes I like to do this, switch over to a practice account or a paper trading account, whatever you want to call it, in markets like this so that I can at least get reps in and learn, use this opportunity to learn versus just sitting around and doing nothing. All right. Again, we're just waiting for a good entry level. So I'd like to have some kind of a retest, even if we're just retesting our control for now. But if we break these highs here and then retest, it'd be even better. But we'll see. We'll take like the last 30 to 45 minutes here and just do some practice trades. Do something. So buyers are still holding price up here at these levels. This is good. Yep, so you can see buyers coming in. Sellers are still here too. Can we peek? There we go. So we just did peak above here. I like that. Even if it falls now, let's come back and retest, and then we'll take a little practice trade to the high side. So long as everything supports it, right? We still got to make sure of that. We might not come back, to be honest with you. We're getting some good support by buyers in here, too. Oh, there we go. Come on. So again, we'll go in light, try with 5. All right, I'm going to take that. 5 micros. If we break highs, we'll add more. Keep our stop loss below here for now. That's not bad. Not risking too much. Again, this is in a practice account. I would not normally take these trades. Just too much volatility and uncertainty. We have no idea which direction we're going to go here. But my thinking is we did peak above the high here. Okay, we came back and immediately pushed back up, which is a good sign. So the entry would have been nice if we got in down here, but it was a quick move. It's okay. It's not the greatest. If we break highs, like I said, we'll add more. We'll move the stop loss up to these lows. Nice. Move the stop loss up a little bit. Let's wait for a little bit of a pullback. We'll add some more. Like it. Yeah. Let's add another 5 there. So we're in for 10. Stop loss below the lows here. Still not a bad risk. We'll see where it goes. We can target previous highs. We'll take off, we'll say 7 or 8 contracts there, and leave to run if we break the highs there. If we move up and we break those highs quickly, I may leave the whole position. We'll see what happens there. But if we're just move up slowly, once we get to that level, we'll take 7 or 8 contracts off, and we'll just see if we get a continued push to the upside. And then I'll just continue to trail the stop loss. If we break this wick here, then we can move to basically just under break even here. Just because it'd be a risky trade. I like the music. Let's go. High energy. Pump it. Come on, buyers. Show us what you got. What I like is we do have buying volume, and then when we get these little pullbacks, the volume slips off, right? So a little bit more buying than selling so far. So hopefully we can keep that up. It can change any moment, right? Give it a little play here. Let me add a marker here in the video. All right, come on. This looks nice. If we break, again, this wick here, we'll move stop loss up. Struggle in a little bit. Honestly, we can move it to here anyway, because if we break back below that wick, no bueno. So very, very cheap trade now. We're in with 10 micros. Like I said, if we push up to highs Slowly, we'll take probably 8 contracts off, leave 2 just in case. If we move up quickly and break this quickly, we'll leave the position and go from there, right? Reevaluate. Here we go. Little peek. It's not exactly the push I was looking for. I might not move the stop loss yet because we might come back down here. Getting a little bit more selling volume here. What I would like to see is a nice strong push up here. Then I'll move to break even and we'll let it ride, but it's looking a little weak. Little weak. May not end up working out after all. But that's why we do it in the practice account. Let's get some reps in, right? Practice your strategy. All right, we might get taken out here. That's okay. Boom. All right, we went down $100. So, not a bad risk, right? To try something. Wouldn't be in my regular accounts, that's for sure. This is still very messy. Let's see what the price does now. See if we come down to our volume high again and get pushed back up. So on the 15-minute, you can see how, we had this mess here. We got pushed back up. We held here. Um, did we just switch over? No. We held here also, right? So we're definitely getting some liquidity building up here versus here now, right? Doesn't mean that this has to stay. This is just what the market is showing us right now. And so here we are retesting again. So maybe we might have some more upside. So we gave it a shot. Oh, that's nice. Hmm. Mhm. And so you can see over here on the volume profile too, um, that the majority of the trades now are being taken up here, right, as opposed to down here where we were before. Okay, so we're shifting. Look at this, really nice, beautiful shelf here. Came down, retested volume high, got kicked back up. Very strong push out. Too far from me. Let's see if we can't take another one here. We're testing a pretty good resistance here. See where we are? Right at the bottom here. Nice. And we're off to the moon. Hmm. Still got a lot of sellers here, but we're peaking higher and higher. So we're coming into, you know, our sellers more and more here, right? And it seems as though the sellers are giving up their position. So let's see where we go. So at this point, I'd have to wait for another pullback. I still think that we might have some more upside. But we're not buying up at the top. Go buyers. So we're going to reach for highs before we get a pullback, which is fine because then we'll get to see whether we're just double topping here and tumbling again, or maybe we'll move past and then we can look for another practice trade. Get a couple reps in today while we're sitting around. This would have been a nice entry here if I wasn't looking at the 15 chart. This is why I like to have multiple monitors. I have a 15-minute chart next to me here that I can glance over at, so I don't miss these entries here. But that's okay. We got a little bit more confirmation because we're still making progress to the upside here, right? So now, see if we get some more support somewhere. We look good on a 15 so far. Mm, Little battle going on there. Nice. Nice push there. Let's see how this candle closes, and then we'll see. As long as it doesn't take off before it closes, might not be a bad. Hmm. Oh, so now we're retesting our tops here. Yeah, we pushed through. Hmm. We're gonna get another opportunity here. We're gonna try teeny tiny. This was a nice push again out of this liquidity zone here. So we'll see. may not work. Nice. Oh, I like that. Again, going in light, we'll add if we get confirmation. Price is still, you know, might actually. All right, that held again. I like these pushes up and out here. That's looks nice. It's good. I don't like this little shelf that we're building here on the top side, but that's okay. We got lots of good strong pushes here. We did peak above with this wick here, but we got a lot of work to do here if we're going to keep moving up. Hmm. Yeah, I don't like the way this looks at all. But I like that push. I'm going to add another 5 here. This could totally go against me very quickly. I don't like that. Mm-mm.
Order filled.
Boom. Buyers don't have it. At least not yet anyway. We're still pushing out of this area. Yeah. Hmm. We're gonna break, yeah. This just reaffirms the you don't trade in this, right? Because you had all the signs in the world here that price was holding, but we just didn't you just didn't have enough. Mhm. There you go. Let's see if this closes very strong here. You might have just had a little liquidity grab, a little teeny one, just like we did here, and then you might move up or not. Yeah, look for your move now. Mhm. Here was your manipulation, right? Takes you out and leaves you behind. Oh boy. The buyers are really trying here, but the sellers are just shoving them back down. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, I cannot hold it up. All right. Sideways trading. No fun. No fun. All right. Well, I think that's it. We tried a couple of practice trades there for ha-has, and we could not push back up, and that's that. But not bad loss for the day, even in a practice account, right? For two trades, not too bad. Not too bad. Not a trade. Boring day in the markets, man. Phew. I tell you what, you are not wrong. Um, but not bad practice, right? What did we learn? Confirmation that you don't trade in these markets. But I like to, hey, you have a nice weekend also. I like to just do some practice trades sometimes, especially when it's been multiple days. I didn't take any trades yesterday. We're sitting here, so you might as well switch over to a paper trading account. fine tune your strategy when it doesn't really matter, right? That's what I like to do anyway. And, keep learning, right? Take the opportunity to learn instead of going red or whatever in your actual accounts. Switch over to paper trading. Practice your strategy. Um, Maybe try to create a strategy for markets like this if you want, you know, and at least you're getting something out of it. At least you're getting reps in. At least you're practicing scaling in and out. All those things because it just takes time, and it's just practice. And the more you do it, then the better you'll get. So, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all of you. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we will be back Monday morning to maybe trade live. Maybe we'll trade the funded account on Monday. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna take the weekend and ponder that. And I'll let you guys know. All right. Have a good weekend. Stay green. See you all next week.